Hello everyone, in this video I want to share our experience and reflections from our robotics activities. During this project, we had the chance to work with different components like the servo motor, the LCD I2C module, and the ultrasonic sensor. It was an activity journey that taught us not just how the components work, but also how to solve problems and work together as a team.
Our activities gave us a deeper understanding of how electronics and programming come together in robotics. It wasn't just about connecting wires or wiring code. It was about seeing how each component interacts with the others. Every task we completed added to our knowledge, helping us see the bigger picture of how a complete robotic system works. A servo motor rotates based on instruction given in the code, which tell it what position or angle to move to. For this work properly, it needs correct power, ground, and signal connections, since some of the wire were loose or connected incorrectly, including the wire connecting the board to the PC. The servo wasn't receive a stable signal or enough power to follow the code. After comparing our setup with our classmate and fixing the wiring, the servo finally worked properly. This experience taught us that when something doesn't work, it's important to check both the code and the wiring, and not assume the problem is only in the program.
An ultrasonic sensor works by sending out sound waves and measuring the time it takes for them to bounce back from an object. Based on this time, it calculates the distance to the object, which is why it needs proper power, ground, and signal connections to functions. Once we fixed the wiring and understood how the sensor worked, it finally operated as expected. The module works using the I2C communication protocol, which allows it to receive data and commands from the board through just two wires, one for data and one for the clock, making it simpler than traditional LCD with many pins. This activity taught us that even when a component seems simple, understanding how it communicates, paying attention to small details in both code and wiring, and experimenting with it can make learning both effective and enjoyable.
After learning each component individually, we started to see how motors, sensors, and display can work together as a complete system. It was exciting to see all the pieces come together and respond exactly as we programmed them. We realized that understanding each component and knowing to connect them correctly is key to building a functional robot. Beyond just making the robot move or display information, we learn how to input, processing, and output are linked, and how a small mistakes in one part can affect the entire system. This experience taught us patience, careful planning, and logical thinking. Most important, it showed us that robotics is about problem solving, creativity, and seeing a complex system come to life from many simple parts working together.
Throughout these activities, most of our challenges came from wiring issues or not fully understanding how a component worked. We learned that problem solving in robotics is not just about finding the solution immediately, it's about observing carefully, testing different approaches, and learning from mistakes. Asking questions, sharing ideas, and supporting each other made a big difference in overcoming these challenges. The first component we worked on was the servo motor, and at first it didn't work the way we expected. We were confused because nothing seemed obviously wrong, so we kept checking the code and thought that the problem was there. Even after reviewing the code several times, the servo still wouldn't move. Later on, we realized that the issue wasn't the program, but the wiring. The ultrasonic sensor was probably the most challenging part for us. At first, it didn't work because we honestly didn't fully understand how it operated, and we kept checking the code thinking that might be the problem, but there were no errors. Later, we realized that the main issue was actually the wiring. Some connections were loose or not placed correctly, which prevented the sensor from sending or receiving signals properly. Working with the LCD 12C module was more enjoyable compared to the other components because we were able to display any text we wanted and see it appear immediately. At first it didn't work because we weren't sure which parts of the code to change, remove, or replace, so the program couldn't communicate with the module properly. After reviewing the code carefully and checking the connections, we realized that there was also a small wiring mistake. Once we fixed both the code and the wiring, the LCD 12C module worked perfectly, and we could see our results right away. Overall, these challenges taught us that mistakes are a natural and important part of learning robotics. Each problem helped us become more patient, observant, and willing to try again instead of giving up right away. By working together, checking both the code and the wiring carefully, and learning from our errors, we were able to improve our understanding of each component. In the end, these experiences made us more confident in our problem-solving skills and better prepared for more complex projects.
Robotics challenged us to step out of our comfort zone and think more critically. There were times when our project did not work as expected, which we are frustrated. But these moments taught us how to analyze problems instead of giving up. Our biggest realization was that learning robotics is not about being perfect, but about continuously improving those mistakes and experience.
Working on our robotics activities helped me understand why communication and cooperation are important in group work. Even though we weren't always the best at communicating because we kept laughing and distracting each other, we still managed to finish the task together. This showed me that the teamwork is not just about being serious all the time, but also about supporting each other and figuring things out as a group. In the end, learning to work together made the activities more fun and meaningful.
During our robotics activity, I really struggled, especially with the wiring, because once we made a mistake, the system would not longer work. Through these experiments, we learned that teamwork is essential to complete the task properly. We realized how important it is to listen to each other, and from then on, we worked together as one. Because of our cooperation, we were able to complete the project successfully.
During our robotics activities, we faced challenges like when the LCD didn't display anything due to incorrect wirings and coding. Even though it was frustrating, we stayed patient, checked the connections, and asked the teacher for guidance. And when the LCD finally worked, we felt proud of our achievements. This experience taught us that mistakes are part of learning and that cooperation with classmates and asking for help makes the process more enjoyable and successful.
In conclusion, our robotics activities gave us hands-on experience with servomotor, ultrasonic sensors, and LCD I2C modules. We learned how these components work individually and together, and we faced challenges that improve our problem-solving and teamwork skills. This experience has strengthened our understanding of the basic robotics and prepared us for more advanced projects in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed seeing our learning journey.